What if events went differently? What if at the end of Captain America Civil War, 4 different scenarios unfolded? In today's video, we explore 4 different ending scenarios, which are: what if Iron Man killed Bucky? What if Captain America killed Iron Man? What if Captain America died? And what if the Avengers returned peacefully? Before the video commences, I would like to clarify that this video is purely fan fiction, based on my own research and imagination. Everyone who watches these fanfic videos will have their own opinions and thoughts on how the events will unfold. While I may not be always right when it comes to these fanfics, but I try my best to follow events that unfold in Marvel Comics and to entertain you guys. With that being said, let's dive straight right into today's video.
Stay down. Final warning. I could do this all day.
What if Iron Man killed Bucky? During the intense fight between Iron Man and Captain America alongside Bucky, Stark destroyed Barnes' robotic arm. With Barnes unconscious on the ground, Stark fought with Rogers and continued firing repulsor rays on Rogers. Stark was on the verge of victory against Rogers and told him to stay down, as he does not wish to continue harming Rogers. Rogers stood his ground, and Stark was about to fire another repulsor ray shot on Rogers when Bucky held Stark's leg. Unlike what happened in the movies where Rogers took the distraction to turn the tide of the battle, in this fanfiction, Stark was enraged at Bucky on what happened to his parents. He told Bucky that a cold-blooded killer like him has no reason to live. Stark aimed his unibeam towards Bucky and shot him, killing Bucky. Bucky was toasted, and Rogers looked with disbelief on what happened. Rogers told Stark that Bucky was his last family member from his time during the war, and indirectly, Stark has murdered his family. Stark told Rogers that he was part of his family too, until he sided with Bucky. Stark added that the only way that Bucky's sins can be atoned is with his own death. Feeling enraged, Rogers grabbed Stark and eventually destroyed Stark's armor. With Stark on the ground, Rogers was about to land the final blow by killing him with the shield when he was stopped by Black Panther. Black Panther, who followed them earlier, had Zemo in custody with him. He told Rogers that as much as Bucky was a dear friend to him, his crimes and his sins of killing others is not acceptable. Black Panther added that while the best option was to bring Barnes into custody and understand his brainwashing, he said that Stark should not have killed him. Rogers knew that killing Iron Man would result in further chaos. Rogers moved aside and threw his shield behind. He told Iron Man that he does not feel the desire to fight alongside the Avengers anymore. Stark asked Rogers on what his plan would be, to which Rogers merely ignored and walked away. The rest of the Avengers remained divided. The ones who sided with Iron Man were able to walk freely, and the Sokovia Accord was passed by Thaddeus Ross. The ones who sided with Captain America, such as Black Widow, Ant-Man, Falcon, and Wanda, went into hiding and were off the radar. Iron Man was still devastated on what happened. He wasn't sure if his actions were the right thing. After all, he has killed the man who murdered his parents. But does that make him a murderer too? He thought to himself and wallowed in his own sorrow. Rogers' whereabouts were unknown, and months have passed by since. One day, Captain America returned to the Avengers headquarters. There he saw James Rhodes undergoing therapy for the injuries he sustained to his leg. War Machine was shocked to see Rogers there, in which Rogers told him that after all this time of thinking, perhaps it is time to return to being a superhero. He said that while it may take some time to regroup and get back on his feet, mourning of his friend's death would not be any good. Rhodey told Rogers that he was glad to meet him. Rogers left the Avengers headquarters. and met a man wearing a trench coat elsewhere. Rogers told him that the plan was in motion. He told the other man, "Hail Hydra," to which the other man responded, "Hail Hydra, too." A flashback revealed that during Rogers' grieving times, he was approached by several Hydra agents who told them that S.H.I.E.L.D. has used several fragments of the Cosmic Cube to reshape reality as the agency would deem necessary. The erratic behavior caused the pieces to violently merge together into a single being. That being that hatched from their union suffered from a damaged and splintered sense of consciousness and decided to adopt the form it felt most resembled in its confusion, a child named Kobik. The Hydra agents told Rogers that S.H.I.E.L.D. has kept the project as a secret from their closest allies, and they were only aware of it due to the presence of their double agents in S.H.I.E.L.D. The Hydra agents said that Kobik had the ability to reshape reality, but in order to obtain it first, they would need Captain America's help to establish a stronger foothold in S.H.I.E.L.D. so that Hydra can control them from behind. He was unsure of what to do, but eventually decided to help Hydra to restore Bucky if there was ever a chance. The man wearing the trench coat left before covering his face in a purple mask, revealing to be Baron Zemo. What if Captain America killed Iron Man? When Bucky held Iron Man's leg, Rogers took the opportunity to turn the tide of the battle. He lifted Stark and pummeled him continuously with punches into Stark's armor. Rogers used his shield to smash open the helmet. With Stark vulnerable, Rogers intended to disable Stark's armor by smashing his arc reactor. However, Rogers smashed the shield too into it, and it cracked Stark's arc reactor. The backup miniature arc reactors failed to function, and Stark started going into a frenzy. His face turned pale, and he was on shortness of breath. Rogers realized that he might have went too far and pulled the shield out from Stark. Stark, having been short of breath, and his last words to Rogers was that he hoped that Rogers would have been satisfied with the outcome of what happened due to the Civil War. Rogers was shocked to see that Stark has died due to what he did. Being devastated, Rogers saw Stark's motionless body and screamed. Black Panther arrived and was shocked to see what unfolded. With Bucky unconscious, Captain America surrendered himself to the authorities. He threw away the shield and told the others that he no longer deserves to be a superhero. The other Avengers were shocked to see the events that unfolded. The Sokovia Accords were being passed, and that the Avengers would be supervised for any of their actions. The world was devastated with the death of Iron Man, and a funeral was held in remembrance of him. Captain America, meanwhile, was arrested and was sentenced in court. As he was being transported to court, the van transporting them was being hijacked. The wheels of the van were shot, and the van skidded. Captain America walked out of the van and tried to assess the situation. He looked around, and all he could see were debris everywhere. There, he saw a man with a skull on his chest, approaching him. Captain America knew that that man was the Punisher. The Punisher told him that he respected Captain America as a national hero, but his sins of killing Iron Man has branded him as a killer. The Punisher added that the system of justice is no longer applicable and that he will be the jury himself. With that being said, the Punisher put a bullet into Captain America and left. Captain America eventually succumbed to his wounds. The city of New York heard about the commotion and were devastated with the news. Iron Man was killed by Captain America, and now Captain America has been assassinated by an unknown assailant. The people of New York were divided. One group felt that superheroes are not capable of protecting them anymore, as Iron Man has been killed by Captain America. If a hero was capable of killing another hero, how can the citizens of New York be certain of their safety? If they really needed heroes to support them, they should be another unit of heroes, or the law enforcement agencies should ramp up their police and military. Another group disagreed and felt that normal police are unable to stop the threat of Ultron or the Chitauri. Riot and chaos ensued on the streets of New York. Everyone was still recovering from the death of both Captain America and Iron Man, the two key members of the Avengers. Crime rate was also increasing on an alarming rate across New York. The Avengers, meanwhile, were disbanded. Those who sided with Iron Man eventually signed the Sokovia Accords and were given amnesty by the government. Those with Cap went into hiding underground. Amidst the chaos, with supervillain organizations such as AIM and Hydra plotting to overtake the world, a new mysterious superhero unit was revealed in front of the public by the mayor. The mayor started with the original Avengers disbanded, and the police force not sufficient to tackle the threats of the unearthly forces. A new superhero team needed to be formed. The new superhero team was introduced as the Dark Avengers, that consisted of Iron Patriot, Ares, Captain Marvel, Hawkeye, Spider-Man, and Thor. The new Dark Avengers eventually crushed all crime and potential activities of the organizations such as AIM and Hydra. With the public support for the Dark Avengers, they were being favored and adored by the public. The public identities of the Dark Avengers were not revealed as a condition for stopping all crime in New York and abiding to the Sokovia Accords. Meanwhile, in an underground base, Black Widow was running through the files of the Dark Avengers as she deemed it suspicious. She found out that the Dark Avengers members were actually supervillains led by Norman Osborn, Iron Patriot, Ares, himself, Captain Marvel, Moonstone, Hawkeye, Bullseye, Spider-Man, Mark Gargan, Scorpion, and Thor Ragnarok. She was shocked to uncover their secret identities. Black Widow knew that the next thing is to assemble the last of the original Avengers to stop this impending doom. What if Captain America dies? As Iron Man was about to fire his repulsor ray to Captain America, he told Cap to stand down. He continued to fire his repulsor beams when Captain America stood his ground. He aimed his unibeam on Rogers when Bucky grabbed his machine gun and attempted to shoot Tony. Bucky shot Stark's armor, pissing him off. Stark then aimed his repulsor cannons on Bucky and was about to shoot Bucky before Rogers came in the middle and shielded Bucky with his own body. Stark panicked and was unable to control his shot, accidentally blasted Rogers with his unibeam. Rogers flew backwards and was bleeding profusely. Bucky was mad and attacked Stark before Stark blew his arm off. With Bucky down, Stark went to Rogers, who was on the verge of death. Stark said that his only intention was to shoot down Bucky, who was a killer, and he wanted to stop Rogers from protecting him. Rogers told Stark that it was not Bucky who did it, but a brainwashed Bucky. If Stark wanted revenge, he ought to find it against those who brainwashed Bucky and targeted his family first. Rogers told Stark that Stark needs to accept the death of his parents in the hands of Bucky, and that as the leader of the Avengers, he should think wisely on his course of action. Rogers then died due to the wounds he sustained. Stark looked at Rogers' lifeless body with despair and could not process the whole situation that occurred. Spider-Man was around the corner and wanted to tell Stark that the battle has already ended. He was horrified to see Rogers' lifeless body there. He asked Stark what happened, to which Stark replied that his repulsor beam, which was aimed at Bucky, hit Rogers, instead killing him. Spider-Man was angry at Stark and told Stark that he respected him as a mentor. He joined Stark's side as he believed in his ideals. As much as being a hero, Iron Man should have never killed anyone despite feeling rage for Bucky. He asked Stark on what he would do now, to which Stark replied that the Avengers would know of the death of Rogers on his hands and would probably come after him. Spider-Man told Iron Man that as much as he was mad at Iron Man helped him out countless times, and it is times like this that he needed a close ally. Iron Man told Spider-Man to leave him alone, and that he should not meddle with these affairs as he still has Aunt May to take care of. Spider-Man refused to listen and wanted to aid Iron Man before Iron Man took back the gadgets that he gave Spider-Man. He told that since the Iron Spider suit belongs to him, He has the right to recall it back. Iron Man then flew away and told Spider-Man to continue being the hero he has always been. The rest of the Avengers heard of the news of the death of Captain America. Bucky was taken into custody by S.H.I.E.L.D. and told them that he was supposed to be killed by Iron Man and not Captain America. Ridden by guilt, he told S.H.I.E.L.D. that he deserves any punishment. Black Panther decided to put him into a cryogenic sleep in order to further understand the brainwashing that happened to him. S.H.I.E.L.D. then issued a manhunt for Iron Man, as he still needs to be arrested for attempted murder of Bucky. A funeral was held for Captain America, and America mourned the loss of their national hero. There were no more factions of pro-Iron Man or Captain America, as they decided to put aside their differences. Rogers was not buried in Arlington, where the public burial was done. Instead, his body was buried in the Arctic, the rationale being that he was preserved in peace here for decades until he could be revived, and so it was the best place for him to rest forever. The Avengers said a heartfelt goodbye, reflecting on their past fighting together. The casket containing Rogers eventually sank into nothingness, with the Avengers looking on. Meanwhile, at Stark's home, multiple helicopters were seen approaching Tony's home across the sea at Malibu. What if Avengers returned in peace? As Captain America and Bucky were struggling against Iron Man told Cap to stand down. Aiming his repulsor rays at Cap, Cap told Stark that he could fight all day. Bucky was about to grab Stark's leg when they were interrupted by Spider-Man. Spider-Man trailed Stark after the fight at the airport and told Stark that, as heroes, they should not be fighting each other. He said that they should be united together against a common enemy. Iron Man told Spider-Man to buzz off, as this was not part of his fight. As they were bickering, a mysterious man approached the four of them. The man was wearing a trench coat and told them a far greater threat is approaching Earth. If they were to continue fighting over something like this, Earth will stand no chance against them. Bucky, Rogers, Stark, and Peter looked at each other and went into defensive mode against the man. The man told them that he meant no harm and that he is merely a watcher of the universe. He told them that a threat stronger than Ultron, Loki, or anyone else they have faced is awaiting them. Tony refused to believe him and was about to shoot the man before the man grabbed Tony's hand. Tony started seeing visions of the nightmares he had seen since the invasion of the Shaturi. He saw scenes of the Avengers being destroyed, Cap's shield broken in half, and huge monsters terrorizing Earth. Frightened by what he saw, Tony was no longer in his defensive mode. He asked the man on what they should do next, to which the man replied that a being by the name of Thanos is coming. Everything that happened from the beginning was a master plan of Thanos. The man told Tony that they should start preparing the Infinity Stones as once. As Thanos gathers all the stones, the universe is doomed. The man added that their bickering and fights are nothing compared to what is about to come. Tony asked why the man helping him, and the man merely said that he wanted to see how the Avengers would fare against such a threat. The strange man then left. It was revealed that the man was no more than Uatu the Watcher himself. Tony was still enraged at what happened to his parents, but decided not to fight against Captain America and Bucky. He told them that he needed to clear his head and get things straight first before deciding the next course of action. Rogers said that if such a threat was real, then they would need all the help they can take. Black Panther told Rogers that Bucky would still be more suitable to stay in Wakanda to undergo treatment for his brainwashing. Peter, who was still puzzled with what happened, decided to return home. With such a threat looming in the future, the events of the Avengers Infinity War would take place after this incident. And there you have it, a 4-ending series for what if Captain America Civil War ended differently. Again, this is purely fan fiction, which is based on my research and imagination. Nobody is right or wrong when it comes to fanfic. At the end of the day, we're all here to have fun. The first arc, which is What If Iron Man Killed Bucky, was inspired by events in the Secret Empire storyline, whereas the death of Captain America by the Punisher was inspired by the Punisher Kills storyline and Dark Avengers. That is all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Do let me know in the comments what was lacking and what did you think could have been different. Until then, take care and stay safe.